For a whole generation of young South Koreans, there's a high-stakes game being played right now. But this isn't fiction. The prize? It's not just money. It's the hope for a future. And the risk? Absolutely everything. So, how did we get here?
I mean, we all remember Squid Game, right? The show captured the world's attention with its just terrifying premise. But what if I told you that the desperation that fueled those fictional games is echoing a very, very real crisis in the country where it was made?
And that's really the heart of what we're talking about today. Why has an entire generation turned to one of the riskiest assets on the planet, cryptocurrency, as what they see as their only way out?
Okay, so to really get why crypto exploded here, you first have to understand the insane pressure young Koreans are under. It's a perfect storm of economic challenges.
All right, first up, debt. And we're talking a lot of it. Household debt has more than doubled in just a single decade. It's now over 100% of the country's entire GDP. That is one of the highest ratios anywhere in the world.
Second, the dream of just owning a home, well, that's pretty much gone up in smoke. In Seoul, housing prices have shot up by nearly 50% just since 2015. For young workers, buying a home isn't just difficult. It's become basically a statistical impossibility.
And the third piece of the puzzle, the job market, is just brutal. This number is honestly staggering. Over a quarter of young Koreans are either unemployed or stuck in jobs that just don't pay enough. So think about it. You're facing crushing debt, unaffordable housing, and a weak job market. Where do you possibly turn?
Well, for so many, the answer they landed on was crypto. And it wasn't just seen as an investment, it was seen as an escape hatch, maybe the only one they could see. This desperation even gave rise to its own phenomenon, a slang term called bitsu. It literally means borrowing to invest. People weren't just putting in their savings, they were actively taking out loans to pour into stocks and crypto, chasing these life-changing returns because all the traditional paths seemed completely blocked. And the sheer intensity of this demand created something totally unique to Korea, the kimchi premium. This is where crypto actually trades for more money on Korean exchanges than anywhere else in the world, just because the local demand is that high. It's a perfect illustration of a market that's just running on pure retail fever. And this right here shows you just how different the Korean market really is. While investors in the West often focus on the big names like Bitcoin and Ethereum, traders on Korean exchanges like Upbit overwhelmingly favor the smaller, much riskier altcoins. The reason is simple. They're hunting for faster, more explosive gains. And just to give you a sense of the scale here, get this. In early 2024, the South Korean won actually overtook the US dollar to become the #1 currency traded for crypto in the entire world. Let that sink in. A country of 51 million people is driving the global market.
But here's the thing about a high-stakes bet fueled by debt and desperation. It can only last so long. And when the market finally turned, the consequences were absolutely devastating. It all came to a head in May of 2022, when the Korean-made cryptocurrency Terra Luna just collapsed. I mean, its value went to effectively zero in a matter of days, wiping out nearly $45 billion and the life savings of countless investors. In the aftermath, chilling messages like this one started appearing on crypto forums. Now, going to the Han River is a dark, well-known euphemism in Korea for suicide. The dream of a financial escape had suddenly turned into an inescapable nightmare. And look, this isn't just anecdotal. South Korea already has the highest suicide rate among developed nations, making it a stark outlier. The immense financial stress from this debt crisis is a significant contributing factor to this national tragedy. The psychological toll, especially on the young, has been immense. A survey of college students who'd invested in crypto found that over 2/3 of them suffered from psychological side effects. This wasn't just about losing money. It was a full-blown mental health crisis. The sheer scale of the collapse and the human tragedy that followed forced the South Korean government to step in. The era of the crypto Wild West was over. So regulators started building a wall of rules, piece by piece. They banned ICOs way back in 2017. Then in 2021, they forced exchanges to use real name bank accounts.
After that, the travel rule was introduced to track transactions, and it all culminated in the landmark Virtual Asset User Protection Act, which just went into effect this year. A key target of all these new regulations is a practice known as Juanchiki, which is essentially a form of crypto money laundering. And it proves that regulators aren't just worried about market crashes, they're also cracking down on crypto being used for all sorts of illicit financial activity. And these new rules, yeah, they have teeth. Exchanges are now being forced to review every single asset they list. For a market that was built on a frenzy for small, risky altcoins, this could mean a massive wave of delistings is right on the horizon. So where does all this leave South Korea and its massive population of crypto investors? Well, they're at a critical turning point. And this really brings the central conflict into sharp focus, doesn't it? On one side, you have a generation's desperate hope for a financial escape, which fuels a high-risk retail frenzy. And on the other, you have the government's urgent need for investor protection, market stability, and regulatory control. But what's interesting is the goal isn't to kill crypto. In fact, the government is now actively exploring ways to bring it into the mainstream. We're talking won-based stablecoins and maybe even spot crypto ETFs. The plan seems to be to tame the beast, not to slay it. Which brings us to the final, crucial question. Is it possible to build a safe, regulated crypto market that still offers a path forward for those who feel left behind? Finding that balance, well, that isn't just a challenge for regulators. It's something that will define the future for millions.